Now let us explore in detail about the different types of storage mode or the dataset mode. Okay, the import, direct, composite, and live. Import already I have explained you the import and direct already I have explained you. In the while connecting to the SQL server, right? In the case of SQL server, we have seen the import storage mode and direct storage mode or the connectivity mode. And the difference between these two, I explain it. Now, anyhow, we will take a deep dive. The import is the one, the most widely used one. This is the default one when connecting to most of the data sources. You need to remember this. It is also referred as cached data. It is also referred as cached data. So in the case of import mode, Power BI pull the data from your data source and load the data inside of the Power BI itself. So the data sits inside your Power BI desktop file. In this report file, the data sits when you use the import connectivity mode. Okay. Since the data is available as part of your Power BI report itself, it is super fast due to in-memory querying and being columnar database. The report performance will be much, much faster. Okay. And other thing is the report performance, I said report performance will be faster because in memory querying, and also it does the compression behind the scene. There is something called X velocity. Previously, it was called as a vertipack. Now they call vertipack as X velocity. This is the driving force behind the import connectivity mode. Whenever you use the import connectivity, for example, you connect to SQL server using import connectivity mode, and then you loaded the data into a report file itself. For example, the dim location, you loaded it, right? So in that case, what will happen is it load the data in your Power BI report file itself, the data, okay? And then what happens is the data will get cached in memory. But before caching the data in memory, it does the compression, kind of zipping the data. And then it load the data into cache. But before doing the compression, it converts your tabular data into columnar data. This is step 1 and step 2. First, it converts your tabular data into columnar data, and then it does the compression, and then it caches the data in memory. Since the data is available in memory, the report performance will be faster. If you wanted to, let's say in your slicer, you want to see only the north region data. As in when you make changes to your slicer, north region data, when you select it, the data will get refreshed in all the visuals related to north region in a pretty fast manner. And again, if you select south region data, the data will get refreshed in all the visuals in your report in a pretty fast manner. Okay, and other thing is the compression, right? The compression is also, the fantastic feature of the striking feature of the Power BI, especially the X velocity. That is the one compress the data. For example, you have a table with the 200 GB data in it. But then if you import into Power BI, it will not be same as 200 GB. Okay, the X velocity engine, which is the heart of the Power BI, right? It leverages the X velocity engines, the compression technique, and then it compresses data. Okay. The other example, for example, I have Excel file. The files is 1 GB. Right. So when you load this data into Power BI, what happens is it ends up with 10 MB only because of the compression, all the things. Okay. The 1 GB file, the actual Excel file size is 1 GB. It get after compression, it might get reduced to 110 MB. Okay, it compresses this file and then it loads this compressed file into memory. Hence, the memory consumption is also very less. If you have 8 GB RAM, right, 10 MB is nothing. But if you load 1 GB, So if you 1 GB, if you load the file without compressing that right into memory, so of the 8 GB, 1 GB will be consumed only for this file. Let's say you are running 8 reports. Each report files is 1 GB. You can run only 8 reports. But with this compression technique, the 1 GB got reduced to 10 MB, and you can run many reports simultaneously because the RAM consumption is get reduced because of the compressed data. You compress data when you load it in memory, it will consume less space in your memory. And another advantage of the import mode is you can connect to any data source and bring it to your Power BI data desktop. And you can use something, the DAX functions, the data analytics expression. You can use all DAX functions that are available in your Power BI in the case of import connected mode. The limitation is you can schedule up to 8 refreshes per day. I have shown you in the Power BI Cloud service. I have set up I schedule the data refresh, isn't it? So likewise, you can per day, you can schedule only 8 refreshes. But with premium license, you have something a premium SKU license, we can schedule more than 8 refreshes. Okay. But once you load, once you load the data with import connectivity mode, you cannot switch back to direct connectivity mode. For example, in the SQL Server, you have imported the dim location table, but you cannot convert the import connectivity mode to direct connectivity mode. You need to remember that also. That's all. The next one is the direct connectivity mode. Direct mode. In the case of direct mode, it is a direct connection to the source database. You remember the sales fact table, I have loaded it. I have used the direct connectivity mode. Yeah, 10:30, right? Yeah, good that you remembered. I just go to the cloud and we'll just check. So whether it's happening now or not. Refresh history. It says next refresh 10:30 p.m. Let me just see here. In progress. Look here, it is going on in progress. It'll take some time. Anyhow, we have configured the connection string, everything correctly. It will take some time. Let's wait for some time. So it is a direct connection to the source. So this is my Power BI desktop software, Power BI desktop. This is my SQL Server. This is my sales fact table. In the Power BI desktop, when I use the direct connectivity mode, what will happen is, let's say I have a visual here, the column chart or bar chart. In that case, I use the 2 columns from this table. What happens is a query will be generated. That one will be sent to this SQL Server, and then the query will get executed here in the SQL Server. The output of the query will be sent to your visual, your bar chart. The data in your bar chart will get populated, right? Once it connects to this sales fact table, and then it fires the query, and then it will return the data, and then it will get refreshed. This one, okay. This is how it works in the case of direct query mode. The data will remain here itself. The data will not get downloaded here. Okay, now the question is, when can I use direct connectivity mode? When can I use import connectivity mode? If the data volume is less, then you can go for import connectivity mode. If the data volume is very, very, very huge, then you can go for direct query mode, direct connectivity mode. For example, the sales fact has, for example, 1 petabyte volume of data is there. If you try to import the data from this SQL query, and then if you filter the data, and then if you show it in it is highly impractical, because if your Power BI server does not have 1 petabyte volume of data, you are gone. It is not prudent loading the taking the duplicate of the data and then load it here, right? Instead, what to do is, okay, for this bar chart, I need a sales column and then category column. Let's assume that these two columns are available here. You just select, generate a query. The Power BI generate a query. Select category and then sales from sales fact. This query will be generated by Power BI. And then, hey, it says here, this is not my piece of cake. This query I will send to you. You execute it here and send me the output of this query back to me. But again, we don't use from clause. Along with that, we use where clause. Where between so and so date. Okay. Within this date or where between so and so date and region is equivalent to region is north region. Only for the north region data, you send it back to us. This query will run here. And then the output of this query, right, is nothing but north region. The north region data only will be sent here to your visual, okay, or in your Power Query data or something like that, okay, or in the visual it will send it, okay. So hence it will be pretty faster. If the volume of the data is very huge, go for direct connecting mode. The volume of the data is reasonably okay, then you can import it, especially for the static tables. You can use import connectivity mode, right? Start import mode, like dimension tables. See the location, right? It will not change more frequently. Location, right? So maximum all the locations put together. Let's say you have 50,000 records. That's all, right? So or 1 lakh records maximum. That's it. It will not change more frequently. Okay. The location dimension, but the customer dimension will undergo changes frequently. Every day, new customers will come and order. In the case of Amazon, Walmart, new customers will. It is very dynamic. In that kind of situation, probably you don't use the import mode for the customer dimension. Okay. Let's not, I don't want to generalize dimension. This is not all the dimension you can use import mode. Those dimension tables are static tables, then you can go for import mode. Again, the volume of the data is less, then you can go for it. What do you mean by less? How less is less? So for example, if you have 1 million or less than 1 million, then you can use import mode. And static tables, it doesn't require frequent data refresh. The another the disadvantage of the import mode is when you use the import connectivity mode, you need to, in order to keep your data up to date, you need to refresh the data frequently. Okay, periodically. Okay. But since it's a static tables and the location dimension, these things, it will not undergo changes more frequently. Every once in a month, if I refresh it, that is more than sufficient. Then close your eyes, go for import connected mode. If the volume of the data is very high, and if it undergoes frequent changes, then you can go for direct query mode. Full stop. That's all. And the advantages, it will consume less storage because you are not loading the entire data here. You are not at all loading the data here, right? The data will remain in the source system itself. It doesn't require any data refresh because Power BI directly connecting to the table. Hence, it does not require any data refresh. Whatever the data that are available that moment, it will go and pick up here. Or whenever you query that, it will pick up the data till that point in time. Still, it is loading here. Refresh. The refresh is very slow. It will take some time. Okay. The other, the disadvantage, limitations to DAX query. This is one problem with direct query. Direct query, you cannot use all the DAX queries. Limited Power Query operation. Even in the case of Power Query editor, you cannot do all kind of data pre-processing. Okay. And these are the two limitations. Okay. And direct query is possible for few data sources only. This is another limitation. Not all the data sources direct query mode is available. For example, MySQL server, the direct query mode is not available. Okay. Only for these set of sources, right? The direct query mode it supports. Amazon Redshift, Azure SD Insight, Azure SQL Database, Impala, IBM Netezza, Oracle Database. These are the, so if you want to see the, the sources that supported in direct query mode, right? You can go and check it in this URL. And the next one is the live connection mode. So far we discussed the import connectivity mode, direct connectivity mode, and the next one is the live mode. It is also like your direct connectivity mode. Is in a direct connection to the source. We are not importing the data locally. Data will not be stored in your Power BI model like direct connection mode. Okay, and then the live connection mode is supported only with 3 data sources as of today. SSAS tabular, SSAS multi-dimensional, and Power BI service. That's it. And the advantage of the no size limitation, you don't have to load the data locally. It is direct connection to the source, and then you can perform major of the DAX transformations unlike direct connection mode. Disadvantage, no Power Query. You cannot do any data pre-processing. You cannot import any other data sources. It is exclusively used for either the Power BI service, or you cannot mix more multiple data sources like Excel, CSV, and the SQL server. You cannot mix. But in the case of direct window, you can use different source files: JSON, XML, Excel file, CSV file, and SQL server tables. The direct window, you can do it. But in the live mode, it is exclusively for either the Power BI service or for this or for this. You cannot mix. Okay, and you cannot do data transformation. These are the limitations. Now the question is, what is the difference between direct query and live connection? We discussed, right? So live connection mode supports only these three. The direct connection mode, it supports the different data sources like Amazon Redshift and IBM Netezza, Oracle, and Teradata, SQL Server. Okay, and it supports more data sources compared to live mode, which one the direct mode. But the other difference is you can use more DAX functions compared to direct connection mode. But in the case of live connection mode, you cannot do any data transformation, data cleaning, nothing you can do. You cannot go to Power Query editor. It will be disabled. Which one? The Power Query editor. And you cannot combine different data files, different type of files. Okay. These are the limitations with live query. The final thing is, which one is faster, direct query or live mode? Compared to these two things, the live mode is the winner. Okay, so why live mode is winner? As I said, the live mode, live connection is possible only with SSCS and then Power BI service. Okay, in the case of SSCS, what happens? The cubes, already they would have created the cube. This cube, they already cache it in memory. Hence, it goes and hit the cube memory and then pick up the data. Hence, it is faster. Whereas in the case of direct query mode, it connects to your SQL Server table. From the table, it has to execute. It has to. Let's say you are sending the query. The query will get executed in the source system. It has to read the data from the disk and then load it in memory. The data is already cached in the SQL Server database system. It will be faster. But in general, it is happening. It goes and read the data from disk and then load memory and then send the the output of the query back to the Power BI desktop. Hence, it takes time. Whereas in the case of live mode, it is pretty fast. It's already cached in memory. So these are the three differences between import and direct query and live mode. The compared to direct query, the live mode is faster. Compared to import, direct query mode and live mode, import is the winner. Import is faster because the X velocity engine kick-started when you use import connected mode, and also it supports all kind of DAX functions, built-in functions. With that, you can do advanced analytics, advanced to very advanced analytics. You can do it with that, and then you can do all kind of data transformation, everything. But practically speaking, we are dealing with huge volume of the data. In the case of SQL Server, if you have the huge volume of the data and the table which undergoes frequent changes, then you'll have to use the direct query mode only. Depends on your network bandwidth. The report performance, will be determined. Okay. So we are done with the three types of, and then the next one is the composite mode. Composite mode is a hybrid of the import as well as the direct query. Look here. So you can connect to any type of web sources, web data, social media, or CSV, or Excel file, you name it, anything, data flow, everything, the combination of all the files. Import mode, direct query mode, and then or the combination of these two, and then it support multiple. So that is what called as a composite mode. Next one is the PBA. Did I cover PBADS for your batch? Nitesh or Aditya, and how about Priyanka and Sudip? Did I cover this one, PBADS? I think I covered it, right? No, okay, Aditya, fine. See, I was talking about the live connection mode. In the case of live connection mode, let me just take a look at this one, the cloud. Let's see what is happened. Refresh got failed, man, bad news. Can you read it? Undefend, if you connect, okay, see details. Column return of the table was not found. Column return of the table was not found. 1 second, what was the problem here? Okay. See, there I have used the previously created the connection mode. That is the problem here. Just go here and settings. And if you click on the refresh history, this is, what is this? Completed. This is on demand. On demand means it's not scheduled one. Okay. Scheduled one, we got the failed message and data gateway connection. The gateway connection, some problem happened. I have used the previously used one. And this is the one. Okay. See the data set included the data set. Okay, this is the one was not. Let me create a new one here. See, I have used the previous one, and for this one, it was using, in that case, some return column and all was there. The new data file, the return, I removed it. So here I just say sales W04 latest. And then that's all. And then simply come here and select this one. Click on create. And then I just go here and then I just select map this one with that one. Map to latest. Apply. And then if I scroll down here, schedule refresh on a daily basis, data set owner at another time. So now let's say 10, oh my God, 10:30, only 11 is there, right? Okay, apply. This is one drawback with this one. If you want to schedule by 11, so let's say 10:45 or so, right? It is not possible. That's the reason why people use Power Automate. With Power Automate, you can schedule it. Anyhow, now we have mapped it. I think it should work. That one was the older status. Anyhow, let it do that. Anyhow, still we have some more time. Okay, now we will take a look at the PBIDS data file. How we can connect to PBIDS file. So for that, I will have to use a new session, Power BI Desktop. You cannot use the Power BI service PBADS file with other data files. Okay, so here I already used other data files. With these data files, if I try to load PBADS, it will not work. So when you load a PBADS file, you are not supposed to have any other files loaded in your Power BI Desktop. That's why I opened a fresh report, blank report. It will take some time once it gets loaded. So here you can see the, one second. Would that it got opened a little quickly. I'm going to close this welcome screen. It is not required. If you go here, get data, and here you have some Power BI data sets. Look here, this is the one. If I click on this, it will connect to the cloud, Power BI cloud service. For example, I'm going to select this data file again. So this is for demo purpose. This has got nothing to do with the previous report, the whatever we scheduled. Okay, or let me do one thing. Okay, to avoid confusion, I just select this data file, EX row level. So that is the report I published on cloud long back. The same report related data file I just now imported it using Power BI datasets. This is called Power BI datasets. In that EX whatever, right? In that data set, I have only 2 files are there. See, that is a super data set, and the super data set, 2 files I have used, only 2 tables I used it. And if you see on the right side, look here, report view, model view, data view got disappeared. It is not there. Look here, here we have data view, right? In the case of import direct in mode, all these views are available, but in the case of live connection mode, which is nothing but the Power BI data sets, right? So the data view got disabled. And then the model view, if you go here, you can see the tables. On top of each table, you can see blue color. And if you keep the cursor, which means if you hover the cursor here, it shows the table name, and then the SQL Server Analysis Service Database, and then database name, and then server name. That's all. It is a live connection mode. The blue color line indicates a live connection mode. You cannot see the data here, and you can see the data model, but you cannot modify. You cannot make any changes to this data model. So here, look here. If I go here, and for example, I just say location key, and with the location key here. This is my sales fact, right? Yeah, location key and location key. Look here, I can create a relationship. Location key, I dragged and dropped it on top of this location key in this table. I can look here, location key, click on OK. I can create a relationship. Just wait for some time. Look here, this line tells us there is a relationship between these 2 tables. How I created it, location key in this table and location key in this table. I just dragged and dropped. See, this location key I dragged and dropped on top of this column. So one-to-many relationship. Okay, fine. But if I want to remove it, look here, I can delete it. I can create a relationship. I can remove the relationship. And also I can remove the column also. If I want to remove it, I can remove it. Whereas in the case of live connection mode, highly secured one, if you right click on it, nothing is showing. And if I want to remove it, you cannot remove it. You cannot make any changes here. The idea here is, let's say in your project, you have a project leader. He has created a report wherein for your entire project model, what are the tables that are required? He imported it, loaded it here, and then he created the data model design, like, create the line, the link between the tables and all, he created it, data model design. Everything he did it, and then he tells you, hey, go ahead and import this file from the cloud. That's all. So you don't have to do the data model design. You don't have to make any changes. You don't have to remove the columns. Simply go here and click on the visuals. What is the chart that you want to create the report, right? You can focus only on the big picture. What do you mean by big picture? Focus only on the report creation, dashboard creation, not on the data model design, data cleaning, including the data cleaning, everything they would have done it. Look here, if I go to transform, look here, transform data got disabled. You cannot go to Power Query Editor. You cannot do any data pre-processing. Everything is done by somebody else. It's something like in the ready mix. The hotel, if you go to a grocery shop, right? Rava idli powder, everything is, the ready mix. All you need to do is simply bring that and then cook it. That's all. You don't have to do cooking. You don't have to do any mixing, all the things. Okay. It's a plain vanilla. Everything is done by somebody else, data model. So the advantage here is as a report developer, I don't have to do the data model design. I don't have to do the data pre-processing. Okay. And also I don't have to have the headache of this table is available in which server, what is the username and password, this table is available in which server, what is the username and password. You don't have to be aware of all these things. Someone already, they loaded the table from, they know the server name, username, everything. You don't have to. Let's say in this case, only 2 tables. In real-time scenario, you will be having at least 10 to 12 tables, 10 dimension tables, 2 fact tables will be there. The real-time scenario. So you don't have to break your head when it comes to the server name and the username, password. There is a direct connectivity mode also. You don't have to have that headache. Everything is done by someone else. You have to simply go ahead and create it. Everything is pre-wired. Pre-wired means all the connection details, everything already they mentioned it there. And they did the data cleaning also on top. Simply go and create the report. Your job is just go, here only in the report canvas, simply use the required visuals and then design it perfectly and then publish it on cloud. That's it. But here there is a centralized control. Okay, the security is very high. You cannot see the data, you cannot modify it, you cannot change it. There will not be any confusions here. Supposing when you view it, mistakenly, right, if you drag and drop some other column, right? So here the always, date and date, instead of date and date, you date and month, you put it here, it will not do the filtering, you will break your head. Let's say in your team, 10 developers are there. Everybody is relying on this. If you are allowed to make changes to this, all the 10 developers will break their head because mistakenly you you set up the relationship with the wrong columns. Here you have a better, handle here. So only what is that? A single point of contact, right? The Spark, right? He is the one responsible making changes. The rest of them cannot make any changes. So data modeling and data transformation you cannot do. Simply create the report. And the other advantages, as a report user, you don't have to have the headache of understanding the server name, all the things. And then the data, right? You are connecting directly to the cloud. Okay, the data will be fetched from the cloud. Okay, you are directly connected to the source. Okay, the data is already cached there. But the disadvantages, look here, other disadvantages, you cannot import any other data file along with Power BI data sets. You cannot mix Excel, SQL Server, you cannot do it in the case of live connection mode. That's it, guys. These are the key differences between import mode, direct query mode, and live mode. That's all. The composite mode also we discussed. It's a combination of everything. PBA data files, so yeah, they make data source much easier to share with others. Yeah, once you create it, you can share it with others that have a specific structure. It's already 11 o'clock. What we will do is we'll continue the training tomorrow. But tomorrow I will try to spend more time. And please bear with me tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow alone, right, make sure that you are staying little late. We'll try to cover as much as possible, okay? Or, okay, Sumati, you just joined, right? What we will do is, Sumati, what you do is tomorrow you forget everything. You watch, these two videos. Currently, only 2 videos are there. Today's session you attended. Yesterday's session video, you watch it from my playlist. Only 2 videos you need to watch it today and yesterday. That's all. You will not be overburdened, okay? And what you do is tomorrow night you attend it. This Monday or Tuesday you watch it, so that you will not be overburdened. Next week you will feel good. Okay. And when you attend next week, weekend session, you will find it more simple. And we will try to stay on track in completing of this batch, right? We'll try to fast track if possible. Okay. And then we'll try to position as at least data analyst. Okay. Even for data analyst, they pay good salary. That and all, we'll discuss it later. At present, knowledge, hands-on, you focus there. Okay. That's all. That is enough. Tomorrow's session will look at all these things. Okay, merging the data, all the things. We'll try to look at that part tomorrow. I'll just go here and see. I'm just curious what is happening here. I just scheduled it. It is still okay, 11 o'clock, right? Okay, anyhow, I will get back to you tomorrow. What we'll do is tomorrow also I'll show you, right, how the refresh is happening. And I'll wait till that time. So because of this, you don't have to wait. Okay. And let me just go here and just go to the settings and see the last refresh 10:42. See, 10:30 I scheduled. It took 12 minutes to do this one. And I think with this one, it should work. The data source, I use the previous data source name for this, which went for sales w04.csv. Okay, again, it got set up with no, sales w04 latest. Have been applied. Okay, fine. Right. So, and the refresh was done by, why it is not stored? 11 p.m. I applied it, isn't it? Yeah, report dashboard design 0.01. Anyhow, it will get kick-started by 11 p.m. And then I will update you the status tomorrow. Okay. Fine. Any questions so far? Okay, since you don't have any questions, I'm going to wrap up the session now, and we will circle back same time tomorrow. The meeting invite remain the same. Okay. Okay. Bye bye. We'll upload the video tonight itself. Okay. Bye.